Hello. So we will be doing this next topic in the series, and that is regarding direct taxes. Uh, Meanwhile, there was big gap between last many days because of I was occupied with something or other, especially with related to the in some or other institute work where I was quite busy. Now, definitely, I have some time, so I will try my level best to complete this series for your October examination and also, of course, intern final, as well as I would like to finish. Of course, this series will be useful for you for many examinations to come, and definitely before December examination, we will do it. I'm talking about October and December examinations because there are great chances that we will have both the examinations this time, and institutes, all the arms, employees, all people are working towards the betterment of profession and will ensure that these examinations will happen. So let us not much go into those administrative things of the institute. Let institute do that. Even though I am also a part of it a little bit, but then I don't want to give any kind of insider information or disclosing any confidential information to all of you. It is better that we concentrate on studies. It's better that we practice more, better that we work hard, and we'll ensure that whenever exam happens, whether October, December, both October and December, we should be able to pass the examination in whatever attempt we give. So if we give attempt of October, we should be able to pass the examination in October, and you know what is the paper pattern in case of online examination. So my point of again coming back to the studies is whatever is the pattern of examination. According to me, pattern of examination actually doesn't matter for the subject like direct taxes. So this is the direct taxes module which we are going to take up now. I don't know whether you'll be able to see. Yeah, the direct taxes module which is there. So what is more important in direct taxes is to learn the provisions and to understand that how these provisions can be useful and can be used in various questions as such, since we are going to give the examination, because they the direct taxation kind of examination, there are two three types of questions which are usually asked. One is the direct question which is there in the MCQ. So if you go to your MCQs also, which has been put up on the website, which has been given to you, so those kind of questions which are asked in the MCQs are one type of question in direct taxation paper. So, for example, question which says that when an employee receives money on closure of national pension system trust account, it is, there are four options given: chargeable to tax, exempt from tax, 40% exempt from tax, 60% exempt from tax, and the answer is A, chargeable to tax. So my point to say is that there will be some questions. You go anywhere in all kind of direct tax, income tax examinations as such. So you go anywhere, you will find that questions are asked in this fashion only. So pointed questions are asked that what is this provision, what is this section, what is this exactly, whether taxable or not taxable, kind of a questions which has been asked. That is one type of question in direct tax examination. There are second type of question in direct tax examination, and that is nothing but all kind of a questions which has been said to you. I mean, for example, there are two three provisions comes together, and you have been given a situation or a practice kind of a thing, or a practical situation kind of a thing, that suppose I am person X, I am a salaried person, and then this is what emoluments I am getting out of my salary, so how much is payable to the tax. So where you are expected to must have read the provisions, as well as you must have applying those provisions to the questions which has been asked, and then finally to get those answer to those questions, and then finally find out what is the taxable amount, or what is the gross total income, or what is the exemption, or whatever it is. Those kind of questions are asked in the taxation paper, income tax paper. So that is the second type of question which you will get in the income tax paper. And the third type of question is which is based on the case laws. So there are certain decided case laws which are there. So you have to go through those case laws. Maybe in your intermediate examination there is no much thirst on those case laws as such, but then definitely there are some kind of a famous case laws which you might have to undergo, and then your questions are asked on those case laws, that on this case what has happened, or maybe this is the principle which has been enumerated in which case law. So those kind of questions can also be asked in your examination. So if you leave the third type of question, but the two types of question are very very prominent, and you should be thoroughly prepared for two types of questions. Now out of these two types of questions also, if you go through your syllabus, there are all income heads which has been considered. So for example, residential status. So if you go to residential status, what is the current provisions of the residential status? So you have to check with the institute website. Of course, you will be having the current latest provisions also applicable for the October examination. So whatever provisions are applicable to your October examination, you have to be prepared. So in the residential status, there are two types of question. Again, as what I asked, I told you, or maybe the third type of question also that may be asked to you. So two type of question. One is they will ask you the what is exact provision of the same. Correct. So how many days if you are living out of India, then you will be considered as a non-residential Indian, like that, NRI. Or maybe they will give that I have gone to some X country for these days, then I came back to India, again I went to this country for those days, then there will be overlapping, they will give you that possibly I have a stamp at the passport at 12 o'clock in the midnight, or 11:30 in the midnight, or 12:30 in the midnight. So which day is to be considered, whether I was NRI for that or not, and if it is exactly falling under those days of 120, 180, etc., then confusion will prevail in your mind that what is the what I want to do as such, or whether I should consider 11:30 is to be the full day as I'm NRI or out of country, or whether I should consider if I enter into 12:30, so whether full day again 30 minutes I'm out of country kind of a thing, my flight landed at 12:30 in the midnight. So those kind of questions, confusing questions will be asked to you. So if you go to the paper pattern which has been given to us for this examination, so first two type of questions has ample of opportunity which fits into A, B, C or D. Correct. So whether it is short notes or whether it is actually kind of a practical situation which has been created, or maybe even if you see that the section A or the section B type of questions where you have to be given pointed answers, or you have to reply with the pointed answers over there in section B. So very much all these possibilities are there in income tax paper. So I think we should be preparing from that angle, that we should not leave anything for any chapter or anything of that sort, for this kind of yeah. But I will tell you that, for example, this residential status, I was going through this residential status study note 2. So for example, basic concept and residential status, these two will be definitely a part of your section A or section B, less of the section C and section D. Of course, that is my analysis. Anybody paper setter, any intelligent person who is actually listening to me, a paper setter, he will say, oh, Ashish Tatya stated that kind of basic concept or residential status will come only in section A, section B. He can create a question for section C and section D in residential status, but then you have to be pointing out that these are the topics, or these are the study notes which are useful for your section A and section B. So you have to study accordingly, that this will come as a section A and section B, more chances of coming as a section A and section B. You have all the possibilities of handling through YouTube channels and whatnot. I mean, whole internet, google.com is with you. So all the questions which are related to these kind of concepts, or this kind of things like section A or section B type of objective type of questions, they are readily available on the website. So you go there and try to solve those questions. If you're not comfortable with the books, I am always comfortable with books. Not everyone is comfortable with books. Some of you might think that they can study much better on computer rather than the book. So you have to take that call, what best you can do. But my point of saying that you have to be studied. So if you ask me, if you go to the next study note, which is agricultural income, so very rarely you will find that very length questions are there in the agricultural income. So that may also be asked for the section A and section B. Correct. And then we have heads of income and computation of total income and tax liability. So income under heads salaries. Now salary is a very typical question. I think it is there in your this paper also. So you have to go through those questions. You have to actually solve those questions and then find out how much is your taxable salary, because there are n number of sections within the head of the salary, and that will you will have to answer those questions, and various heads of the salaries what are all taxable, what are all not taxable, what is exemption available, in which cases exemption is available, in which cases exemption is not available. So in salary kind of a study note wherein or a topic wherein you will have questions from all A, B, C, D. So you have to study your this kind of topics from that angle, that okay fine, there will be more chances of you will get the section C or the section D question in case of income under salaries. So you have to study according to read those provisions properly, solve the questions. Don't rely just on study note. I always believe that study note starts with page 1 and ends on page 10, where they give you whatever are the study or whatever is the syllabus has been given in up to that page 10. Page 11 onwards it is all open, so you read it just as a book as what you are reading. So any other outside reference book you should be able to read. You should give attention to those and read those books. I'll not name any one of those books because there are plenty of books which are available in the market, and I know that Mumbai, where I stay, there are different books available. If you go to Lucknow, there are more different popular authors. If you go to Chennai, there are a few more different authors. So you rely on those authors which are there all across the country, wherever is locally available. Ultimately the law remains same all over the country, so that should not be a problem to you. So income tax law is same for all over the country. So you refer any book that is good enough for you to get understand that what you are supposed to read. But my point of saying is, you have to take that study note or that income head from that point of view, that okay fine, yes, this is the income head which may come for section A, section B, section C or section D. So my suggestion for the section B, or in your study note section B, that is study note number 5, income under head salaries, that will mostly come. You have to be prepared for C and D for the salary. So you have to read all the provisions which has been given. So that can be done. Then next is the income from house property. As we all know that income from house property is very I will say those section 54 and all those sections which are there for the capital gains. So these are also applicable for the income from house property. So you'll have to go through those sections as such. So it talks about section 23, sorry, 22, 23 chargeability. So all these sections which are there, long term capital gains are there, short term capital gains are there, plus in the house property how much is taxable, how much is the standard deduction, how much is what about the let out properties, what about deemed to be let out properties. So everything has been asked, everything has been covered in your syllabus. But my suggestion for this study note number 6 is, you have to study from the section A, section B and section C point of view. I feel there are less chances that you will get section D question in the house property. It might have been asked in your model question. I have my own doubts, but still, definitely, according to me, there are less chances of having questions, section D questions in the house property. But if you go to next study note, which talks about business and profession, income under the head profits and gains of business or profession, 110%. You write down from me. Anyone can say so. You don't require me to say so. So 100% you will get the question in section D. Maybe you will get even one or two questions also in section D about income from business and profession. So you have to study all the kind of provisions which has been given in your book for the same. And then again we have income under the head capital gains. So what is there in the capital gains, I tried to cover that in the house property also. So there are capital gains. So capital gains not just in the house property, so there can be clubbing of both kind of a thing which may be asked in the income tax paper also. So that you have to be prepared for that. Then income under income from other sources. So all those other sources, so for example other sources income may get clubbed with something else, or a return of an individual, something of that sort, when he's having salary plus other income, or business plus other income, or something of that sort. But then again, this kind of a study note will be definitely asked in your section A or B kind of questions, wherein income from other sources you should be preparing. So for example, what about gift? So you must read all the provisions related to gift for the income from other sources. So for example, dividend, what is the provision under dividend currently which is there for that? So that will be not covered for the section D, or maybe some portion may be covered in the section D, but most probably it will come in section A or section B. So you have to be prepared according to that. Then we have set off and carry forward of losses. So these are also questions which may part up to ABC. It may not come to the D. That is also a possibility. Then we have deductions in computing total income. So all those section 80 deductions which has been enumerated in the study note. So you go through various different books, refer those different books. You can also find it out why those different books. That also I will tell you, because those books have been referred by many people in the past, and they are popular in that locality or in that city, country, or whatever. There are many books, many authors which are popular all across the country, so you can refer their books also, because they are popular, because they have written good material, or maybe whatever analysis of the provisions which are there, or implications, or the actual implementation of those provisions are rightly enumerated in their books. That is why they are popular, not necessarily that whatever has been given in the study note will come in the examination only. Now, especially when we have changed the, yeah, sorry, little disturbance. So uh, I was at section 80, and those books which are very popular across the country, because they have covered many things, as a part of those total, they have whatever provisions has been covered in their books are been asked in the various examination. That is why their books are popular. So not exactly what is been asked in the direct taxation paper, you will get it. Direct taxation, this study material, everything you will get it in the question paper also. So it is not like that. So I think all these things we must remember, and we must study all these study notes from A, B, C, D point of view. That which study notes will come for section A, section B, or section C, etc. Now, if you go ahead, yeah, correct. So if you go ahead, deductions we have covered. So assessment of the various persons. So this kind of, for example, what is the assessment of HUF, Hindu Undivided Family, or maybe what is the exemption to political party 13A, right? So those things may come for the section A and section B. So you have to read it minutely, and wherein your photogenic memory will help you to remember whatever are the provisions given in the act. So you have to understand that these are the provisions given in the act, and you have to read accordingly, and you have to remember accordingly. And how will you remember? Again, I am telling you, as what I told earlier, that either it is a photogenic memory, the moment you read it, your mind actually takes the photograph of that provision in your brain, and it keeps it in storage. So when in examination those kind of questions come, you can recall, oh yes, this is what I have read. Or maybe you say that, oh, I feel that this is what should be the answer, especially if it is four answers which has been given to you. It's easier for you to recall sometimes. But then if you study it again and again, or if you practice those questions, then automatically these kind of provisions, you understand it better, you remember it better, and it is easier for you to recall it at the time of examination. So that is about the assessment of various persons. So more concentration on A and B, again TDS, A and B, then tax collection at source, TCS. All these are different provisions which are mainly focused on section A and section B. Then we have assessment procedure, then income computation and disclosure stand. So all these things are very much into section A and section B. Some portion may come for C and D, but according to me, heads of income which are more important, that is from the salary. Next is business and profession, then is house property, capital gains, and then other sources may or may not, and some part of set off and carry forward of losses, computation of total income. So all these things are quite important from your section C and section D, and more of the section D point of view, because ultimately don't forget that your section D carries lot of weightage. Your section D has lot of marks, and those 20 marks are not less if you solve those questions very rightly. And institute can actually break, the paper setter can actually break your section D into various questions, as what in the model question also it has been seen that it can be broken into various sections, and then it can be broken into various questions, and then it may be 3 marks for different, 4 marks for different, of that kind may also come to you. So my request to all of you, that when you are studying for the direct tax paper, you ensure that this kind of a direct tax paper which needs to be studied in different fashion, and you concentrate on various heads of income or whatever study notes which has been given, and then study accordingly, that this may be more weightage to be given to the section A. If had I been at your place, what I would have done, fortunately I passed examination intermediate long back, 20 years back. So what I would have done, that I would have given now you have computers and everything at your end Excel sheet, just open one Excel sheet, note down all this study note number 1 2 3 4 6, so up to say, whatever 15 17 study notes which you have, 18 20 or 20 study notes you have. So therein after I would have put up one square and saying that A B C D. So what is the more chance of having this study note will come for A. So for example, as what I told you, that residential status will be definitely going to be a part of more or less of A, B or C. It may not come for the D, or maybe basic concept kind of a thing, or rather residential status and basic concepts will come more for A and B and less for C. So I will give say 20% weightage in residential status for C division. Then the D is nothing, the 0 will come in residential status, but then A and B, rest of the 80 I will divide into 40 40. And for the basic concepts also I will say that may not come anything in D, but say 20% will come again in C, and then A and B again I divide it into 40 40. So I will study my income tax provisions accordingly, that how it will come finally appear in the examination. Our intention of giving examination is to pass the examination. So when I'm passing the examination, I'll form my strategy accordingly for this quite a difficult paper of direct taxation, because I know many of the cost accountants, in fact the students also, when I was also a student once upon a time, I always have a taboo for direct taxation. I always used to say, "Arey, this is the not the topic of which we should be studying." However, after passing examination, when I'm into practical world, I realized that these provisions are not that difficult as what we might have been seen in our intermediate final level papers, or in intermediate final level kind of a studies where when we were doing it. It is only our ignorance, or it is only our disliking towards this subject which is there. But if you study in depth Income Tax Act, it is very interesting subject. And in future, with the way government is taking away tax audit limits, so you can actually file the income tax returns of various entities, not exactly where a different professional is required to sign those documents, but you can also take up those tasks in future. I have many friends practicing cost accountants who has taken up this task of practicing into income tax act as such. I know many friends those who are doing it. So I have many friends who has a separate wing only, other than their normal other work which they are doing, it a separate wing to do returns or the replies or whatever assessment etc in income tax act. So I think we can and also as far as my memory goes, we are also allowed to have the this representation, or can be a presentation to the up to a ITAT level, appellate, and below that commissioner level etc. We can do a representation for our clients, of course not into the tribunal, high courts etc, tribunal also, of course not to the high courts and etc. So but then at that level also you can represent yourself, your clients as such. You can create your practice accordingly. So in future, if any one of you thinks that this subject may not be useful to me, don't take it that lightly. This subject is very much useful. If you work in the industry, you should be knowing, whenever you are doing costing, whenever you are doing any other indirect taxation, excise, or rather GST and any other indirect taxation, you should be knowing at least the basic principles and the basic provisions of Income Tax Act. So don't take this subject very lightly. You have to take this very seriously, not only for passing the examination, but in future also. Remember, in final also you have a specific marks given for the this taxation paper. So unless you pass through this Income Tax Act and the provisions of Income Tax Act, you cannot be a cost accountant. Again, after even becoming a cost accountant, you can't just done away with the Income Tax Act. I do work in Income Tax Act also related to transfer pricing and so many other places, though not exactly with filing of returns or making of the accounts and audit of tax audit and etc. We don't do that. But then many work which we do in income tax also, and many exemptions which are given on the basis of cost. Many clients comes to us and they ask us that if you could certify that this is the cost for this kind of specific for a specific purpose, or maybe this cost is for this specific purpose. So they come to me for a certification of those costs also. So not necessarily that Income Tax Act is not meant for the cost accountants. Very much cost accountant do lot of work in income tax also. So I'm requesting all of you to ensure that you study hard for this paper. Again, you take all the study notes one after another and see that these study notes are been given for whatever is the percentage to be given to that section A, section B, section C, and section D. So the topics which are relevant for section D, you read it thoroughly and ensure that your section D kind of a questions which are lengthy case study kind of a question. Ultimately, that case study is nothing but what you have a big questions which has been given in examination will come as a case study in section D now. So you have to study those, give more emphasis to those questions because there will be more stakes on with those study notes which are there, especially as what I told you that income heads under capital gains or the business and profession and salary and all these things are quite important. So you must study those in detail for section D and for all other study notes which are there, and all those study notes, all those topics you must learn from the point of view of section A and section B and section C, where small questions or just a small description or maybe exactly objective type of questions has been asked on this. And there will be plenty of material available on the direct taxation because there are many practitioners, those who practice in direct taxation, income tax act. So they must be creating a lot of material. If you go to Google, you will get a lot of material about that. I need not tell you, you all are smart people, future managers of this country. So you should be able to find it out that even in case if you go to the Google, there are a number of lectures which will give you a exact topic wise sessions of the specific year. So for example, say house property. So you just Google it that good sessions on house property. You just need not rely on anyone else, but you can. There will be lectures of 1 hour, 2 hour, 10 minutes, 30 minutes only on house property under Income Tax Act. So you just read you just listen to those lectures. You need not even go for any kind of, in case if you are not going for any private classes, etc. Then you can go to the Google. You can understand that whatever is material available on YouTube. You can listen to those sessions which has been uploaded by good eminent faculties on the YouTube. Of course, problem with income tax is the latest provision, so you have to be keep in mind what are all latest provisions which are there. Institute always gives a memorandum or the kind of a notes of what are all latest provisions which are applicable to the current examination, which I'm sure you must have received it, or if not received it, you will receive it in due course of time. That's a normal routine of institute for a number of years. So you should get it, and accordingly you must study and ensure that you pass this difficult paper of direct taxation. It is not difficult because provisions are difficult. It is difficult because we have taboo for this kind of a paper saying that income tax is not our act or income tax is not what we look for. But then that is not the case. We have to put more equal attention to the income tax act also. And again, I assure you that after passing the examination, you will require this act. You will have to study many provisions from this act as well, right? So all the best to all of you, and next time we will definitely cover the next topic. Maybe very soon I'll be uploading the next video also on the next paper, that is group 1 paper 8. Thank you so much.